Hi everybody and welcome back. My name is Stephanie and today we are down here with the seedlings, which are all coming in really well so far. And I had a couple plants that had very good germination rates, and so rather than chucking those plants, chucking the extra plants that germinated, what I want to do is actually separate them out and double my yield on that. So I wanted to take you along with me and share with you how I do it and how it works out for me. One thing I always take into consideration before I actually separate and transplant is the size of the plant. Because if we do it when they're too small, it can be done, but the soil falls apart, I'm likely to give the plant more damage to it, that kind of thing. And if I wait until they're too big, then the two plants become so root bound to each other and to the pot that it just becomes useless at that point, and I basically just have to choose which plant I want to keep and cut the rest of them down. So I think now is a really good time to do it because they're all around 2 to 4 inches tall. They have good root systems. They have true sets of leaves on them. They've been growing for a couple weeks, so I think today is the perfect day to go ahead and try to do it. It's been raining and snowing and weird mixes outside all day, so it's a good day to be working on it. So I figured I'll take you along and show you how I do it and what works for me when I try to do this kind of thing.
So what we're working with here is the dark opal basil, but this is going to be basically the same with any of the plants you use. And first I'm going to show you a packet that has only 2 in it, and then I'm going to show you how to do it with a pack that has several seedlings in it. So first, I'm going to get it out of my tray just by gently squeezing, trying not to damage the plant too much. I'm not pulling it by the stems because we don't want to accidentally break our stems, and it should come right out even with the roots through the bottom of the tray, which we have, if you can see there. And then not by the stems but by the plant itself. I'm just going to kind of use my thumbs up by where the 2 stems meet right in the middle, and I'm going to gently kind of start working it apart from itself. And the plant will kind of show you where to go by creating a fissure down through the middle. And once you have it mostly separated like that, you can gently pull the 2 apart. And we want to rip as little roots as possible. So we're just going to keep kind of pulling there, and the 2 plants' roots will separate from each other. Then I've already got my tray over here, which already has a little bit of damp soil in the bottom of it. And we'll stick each one in the tray and make sure that you get all those nice long roots down in there and nobody's sticking up. And if you have to add a little bit more or remove some soil from below, that's obviously fine. Just get it in there good and snug. Then we're going to place some new fresh soil around it. We want to make sure that all the roots are covered with soil and that nobody is exposed to the light, but you don't want to build up too much soil around the stem of the plant. You want to kind of keep the dirt at the same level on the stem itself as it was before. And then you want to give it a really good watering with just lukewarm water. You don't want it too warm and you don't want it too cold. But you also want it to be deep but gentle, so I like to use my spray bottle, and that way I'm not hitting the plant too much and stressing it out even more than it already is from this. And give it a nice good watering. And then add some more soil if you have to, because the soil is going to compact with the water. And then whenever you're done transplanting, you don't want to put these guys right back in the light. You want to put them in it doesn't have to be dark, but in a shaded place, and let them rest for a couple hours. It's less stress on them to try to be absorbing all that light while concentrating itself on surviving the transplant. Now when you have a plant that has more than 2 in the cell, like this one here actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants that managed to come up in one cell. Not really sure how I ended up with 5 in there, but I did. This one I'm going to kind of choose the hardiest and outermost one. This one, since there's one right on the edge here, I'm going to start with that guy. And same thing, kind of pretend like this clump is one plant and this one's another, and do the same thing. Just kind of separate that one plant out and get as many of its roots as you can. There we go. And we'll put them to the side. And then same thing, I'm just going to kind of keep choosing it as the 2 strongest clumps. So this, I kind of have a clump of 2 here and a clump of 2 there. So I'm going to separate those 2 clumps from each other, same way. Nice and gentle. Let the roots work their way out from each other. Kind of like if you were untangling your own hair, anybody with long hair. And then we'll separate the two. Now when they're this close together, it gets a little bit trickier. Just have a lot of patience and work slow with it. And just kind of keep nudging and pulling, and eventually those roots will separate from each other. There we go. See, not a lot of soil on that. But we'll just get them dug right down into the soil, make sure all his roots are in. And we have this one here, that this little guy is so tiny and up against the other one. I'm just gonna leave that for now, and we can wait until they're both a little bit bigger and hardier, and then we can come back in and separate them again when they're a little bit more ready to handle it.
Okay, so that wasn't so bad. It didn't take me too long to do that, and I managed to turn 1 flat of 4 packs of the oval basil into 2 flats of those, along with 3 side plants, and I have another 6 plants upstairs that are from that same flat that are being used for other projects. So I just wanted to share that with you guys as I was doing it. And remember, when you're doing this, that the idea is to put as little stress on the plant as possible. So if you're doing anything like topping or pruning your plants or anything like that, do it on a different day. Keep these guys in a cooler, shadier place for a couple hours. If your plants look a little limp and like they're kind of falling over and they're not too happy, don't fret. Plants are a lot more resilient than we tend to give them credit for, and give them a couple hours or even a day or two, and a lot of times they will perk right back up. I'm going to give these guys an hour or two in the shade, and then I'm going to get them back underneath these lights over here and let them soak up some good sunshine and make sure that they have a lot of water and all that. But thank you for joining me on this and giving me the opportunity to share with you what I'm doing, and I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. And always think about subscribing, because I love sharing what we're doing around here, and I appreciate all the support either way, whether it's this video or a subscription. I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your day. I love you all. God bless, and bye-bye.